What if I told you that this rock helped turn the tide in the battle for the Kingdom of Hawaii? The massive volcanic eruption of Kilauea in 1790 certainly left its footprint on Hawaiian history in more ways than one. Welcome to Every Rock Has a Story.
And this is the rock that we'll be viewing today. I noticed that it's a little bit bumpy and it's brown and there's black on these sides right here. And I was wondering, where does it come from? Hey Ethan, can you tell me the stories about this rock?
Thank you, Anna, for introducing this rock to everybody. Well, this one doesn't look like much, does it? Still, Anna did point out the black and the brown colors. Instead, it has kind of a bumpy look and feel. Well, some of those bumps were actually bubbles of gas that got caught inside this rock when it erupted hundreds of years ago from the Kilauea volcano on the island of Hawaii. I want to put this on our rock spinner to give you guys a closer look. So this is a chunk of basalt, a frozen lava rock that we can also call spatter in this case. Spatter forms when lava rock builds up right around the very sides of a vent or a crack where the lava comes out. Here's what Kilauea looked like during a more recent eruption. You can see a spatter cone forming as little blobs of lava pile up all around the sides. Now, what is special about this rock is when it erupted. This one erupted in the year 1500, and it marks the start of an incredible 320-year sequence of eruptions from Kilauea. And the biggest and the most famous of all those eruptions happened in 1790. That was a time of great significance in the history of Hawaii. It was a time when two warrior chiefs, Kamehameha and Keoua, were battling for control of the island of Hawaii. In fact, Chief Keoua and his army were camped right at the summit of Kilauea, just as that famous eruption of 1790 began. Now, a geologist friend of mine named Kendra collected this particular rock from the excavated remains of an ancient spatter deposit within this eruptive sequence. I want to take you guys to Kilauea now to meet another geologist who's been studying this rock and can tell us the rest of the story. Oh, and I should tell you, the story does get a little bit scary towards the end. All right, hey Christina, how are you?
Hi Ethan, it's
Great to see you. Everybody, I'm with Christina Cauley. Christina is a PhD student at the University of Oregon, and she is studying this, the Kilauea volcano. Christina, I gotta tell you, we got here a couple of days ago. We heard that right there on that spot, there were giant fountains, hundreds of feet high of red hot lava. Got a little bit of a night shot when we got here, but this rock that we brought from the studio, I know tells maybe a little bit of a different story, doesn't it? I'm hoping you can tell us that.
I have to take a look. So this rock here dates from a time period where activity at Kilauea was really different than what we're seeing right now.
Okay.
So for the last 100 years, Kilauea has been predominantly this effusive, gentle type of eruption.
Kind of like the stuff that we saw in episode 83 with Kama.
Yeah, so that effusive activity produces pohoihoi and a'a. But prior to that, we had a really different type of explosive activity happening.
Explosive activity.
Exactly, and so those make some different deposits. I want to show you an outcrop where we can see deposits from this really different type of explosive activity.
Let's go check it out. Oh, Christina, is this it?
This is it. This is the outcrop I wanted to show you.
This is so cool.
So right here, we're looking at almost 300 years of explosive activity at Kilauea volcano marked out in these units.
So is this like the year of the eruptions?
Exactly. So these are the years that these eruptions occurred approximately. We have down here this golden pumice layer all the way through to this massive 1790 ash deposit.
Oh, that's so cool. So from 1500 AD, blasting all these giant explosive eruptions
And how do you know that this was explosive? What does the rock tell you about that?
Because it produces as much ash. Now you notice this whole outcrop looks very different than the A'amfoe
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it looks more like what you'll see at Mount St. Helens or something like that.
Yeah, big, huge explosion.
Exactly, because it was a big, huge explosion of basaltic material and produced basaltic ashes.
And this stuff.
And that stuff.
So were there people here when these eruptions were happening?
Definitely. So we had people observe the 1790 eruption. We have written records of the people who survived that explosion.
Really? So what do we know about that eruption?
So we know that it was a massive ash plume that went up into the air and that could be seen for miles from here. And there's people here during that time, right at the summit.
Oh, my goodness. And what happened to them?
So let me go show you something.
Okay.
So Christina, tell me, what was it that got you interested in the geosciences in the first place?
Well, growing up here, the geosciences are amazing. And my dad always took me out to the Pu'o'o eruptions to see those growing up. And that's what really got me interested in geology in general. But from an academic sense, I was interested more in how people use resources.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I want to show you something right over here.
Oh, check this out.
Yeah. So I actually started in archaeology.
Archaeology. Interesting.
Looking at how people made stone tools and where these came from. And so right here we have a ko'i, which is a Hawaiian adze.
Okay.
And these were used to make canoes and all sorts of things. But they need really dense basalt. Not quite like that rock.
Okay.
So those could have come from the same type of eruption, but this type of basalt is coming out of a ko'e wall.
Oh, okay.
So it's really dense.
So that's really cool how your interest in the geoscience started with sort of the human side of things, and then you got into the geology and sort of how those two worlds come together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's spectacular. And speaking of people, let's keep going to finish that side of the story.
Sounds good. Set up.
That was a long walk, a little bit longer than we expected. It's pitch black, but we're here now. We found something inside this circle. And Christina, what have you taken us here to see?
Right here, we have direct evidence that people walked through the deposits of the 1790 eruption.
So this is literally the very layer of rock, that brownish rock.
This ash was produced by the same eruption.
In 1790. And so what are we looking at here?
So right here, we're looking at a footprint from one of the people in Kilauea's army.
Oh my goodness, that is a human footprint.
A human footprint. Kilauea was the cousin of Kamehameha.
Okay.
And they had a feud going on for 10 years for control of the Big Island.
Back in 1790?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So when the eruption occurred, they had been at a stalemate for most of that time. And the eruption sadly killed about 1/3 of Kilauea's army and completely shifted the tone of the conflict. The eruption was taken as a sign of Pele's displeasure against Kilauea, and within a year, Kamehameha had gained control of the island and Kilauea was killed. Once Kilauea was out of the picture, Kamehameha was able to pretty quickly gain control over Maui and Oahu, and then within his lifespan, gain control of all of the kingdom of Hawaii.
Wow. So when we say that every rock has a story, this is a pretty spectacular example.
Timing is everything, and it was the timing of Kamehameha gaining control of the islands and creating the kingdom. It was the timing of Kilauea passing through here.
Christina, thank you so much for coming out here in the pitch black to tell this story. It's been great having you in Every Rock Has a Story.
Thanks for being here.
You guys, we'll see you back in the studio with the lights on. Well, that was an adventure. We had to follow that trail really carefully to make sure we didn't get lost out there and to spot that incredible warrior footprint preserved in the ash. It got a little scary out there, but certainly nothing like those warriors in Kilauea's army must have experienced on that fateful day in 1790. Now, I'd like to bring Anna back into the studio. Hi, Anna.
Hi, guys.
So when you think about that story, what was your favorite part?
I like the story of the footprint and how it was created.
Yeah, and it was probably one of Kiowa's warriors that left that footprint as they were running away from the eruption.
I thought it was just one person that got wiped out, but actually it was half of Kilauea's army.
Yeah, Christina said about 1/3 of the army was lost to the exploding ash and poisonous gases that came out in a huge plume. Exactly. And what did you think of that part?
I was thinking that part was kind of a little bit scary.
Yeah, well, it is scary. Sometimes the power of nature can get scary. It's also true that the power of nature can be one of the things that makes it so beautiful. So if you could ask Christina one question, what would it be?
I would ask her, why did the volcano erupt?
Well, that is a great question because guess who's joining us now? It's Christina from her lab in Hawaii. Hey, Christina.
Aloha, Anna. Aloha, Ethan.
All right, so Anna wants to know why the volcano erupted in such an explosive way back then.
Yeah, and the question Anna's asking is right at the heart of our research. Why did this 300-year period have such a different type of activity than we're seeing right now? So one of the things that we think about when we think of exploding volcanoes are the gases contained within the melt.
We talked about that in episode 29, you guys. So what kind of gases are you talking about in this case?
The dominant gases for an eruption are primarily water. Then we have CO2 contributing.
Okay, so mostly water and carbon dioxide. Those are pretty common gases. And how do you study gases in these ancient eruptions?
So we can get at gases from underground and within a magma chamber by using crystals as little vessels that trap these gases. And we call these types of inclusions fluid inclusions. So I'm focused primarily on olivine because it's one of the first crystals that forms within a magma that comes out at Kilauea.
Okay, so you're saying that there are literally bubbles of gas preserved inside the little olivine crystals?
Yes.
Wow. So what have you found in your work?
The bottom line is the fluid inclusions in the Koi period are looking pretty similar to the fluid inclusions from our most recent eruptions. So it has to be something more complex driving this. So we could have outside influences, such as outside water coming in and mixing with the magma, usually groundwater mixing with magma. And when it happens really fast, it causes the water to expand exponentially as it rapidly turns into a gas and just explodes.
So I'm also curious, was 1790 the last time that Kilauea erupted in a giant ash explosion like that?
No, we also had a massive ash plume that was observed at the summit in 1924, and people took photos of it then. And then in 2018, when the summit caldera collapsed, we also had another ash plume.
2018? Oh my goodness. Now you've got me a little worried. Is it ever going to explode like that again?
So that was a concern. When 2018 happened and the caldera collapsed, we weren't sure what type of activity we would see at the summit following that. But we've had a couple of years of activity and the very consistent fountaining that's been happening since 2024. And it seems that the overall structure of Kilauea has not changed as dramatically.
Okay, good. So it sounds like Kilauea, at least for the time being, has settled a little bit back down.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen when you have these changes in eruptive style. And it's just important that we study the past so we can know what possibilities we're facing.
Well, I'm sure glad that scientists like you are working on this question. So, Anna, what did you think of all that? Anna? Where did she go?
Hey guys, I'm back. And Christina, thanks for the stories about where this rock came from.
You're welcome, Anna.
Well, it's great to see you both, and thank you both for being here.
Bye guys!
Well, this rock sure did have a story now, didn't it? Remember when Anna first showed it to us? It really just looked like a black and brown, rock. Now, I love the shiny, the colorful, the crystally specimens we've seen in some of the other episodes too. But you don't just want to walk by the stuff like this. It might not look so interesting. Do you remember what Emily told us in episode 61?
There's no such thing as a bland rock. They're all special and important to our Earth.
In this episode, we saw how life, fragile human life, left its footprint and its story in the rocky remains around Kilauea. We almost walked right past that footprint as the sun was setting. In fact, there are probably hundreds of other human footprints in the ash that have been discovered, studied, and protected inside the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And that's not all. You can go to the white sands of New Mexico, where human footprints more than 20,000 years old tell of the very first humans to come to North America. Near Olduvai Gorge in Africa, footprints left in 3.6 million year old volcanic ash mark some of our oldest human ancestors. And you guys remember all the way back to episode 2? That one was about a different kind of footprints. Footprints left by dinosaurs running through the mud almost 200 million years ago. Yeah, life does leave its mark. I like to imagine the individual person or dinosaur that left those footprints, who they were, where they were going, what was their story. I wonder how you will leave your mark on the world. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right, here's the scoop. It's a little late, and the sun is basically already set, but we got the moon. There it is. The moon is gonna shine our way. It's gonna light the end of this episode. That's Christina. It got too dark. That's the moon back there, but we are out of light. We didn't find what we were looking for tonight. So we're regrouping, heading back to the car, which is the smart call, by moonlight here on this trail. So we found what we were looking for. We found the footprints, but it's a little dark. We're doing this anyway. We got RJ and Hakeem. Kama is over here working the lights. We got the moon helping us out too. Yeah, we're getting re-mic'd here. And Christine, you ready to do this? Yeah. It's pretty dark, man.